Hi, everyone. I'm glad that you're back. I'm back, and I want to kind of tell you what kind of week I've had. I hope everyone's had a good week. It's been about a week that I made the last video. I believe it was on Sunday. Today's Saturday. And I'm much calmer. Thank you, Lord. And I've had a lot of time to think. And I want to thank you all for all your comments and your suggestions. You really are so kind and amazing, so empathetic and caring. And I was nervous about doing anything on YouTube because I thought, there's going to be a lot of haters out there, and that has not been on my other channels as well. I've had, such a minute amount of, bad comments. I hear other people talking about it, and they're not as lucky as I am. Maybe I'm just lucky. And if I am, I thank God, because you guys are amazing. And I'm going to say 99% of all the comments that I read tell me that I should make that blanket and that I should send it to her. And that is what I'm going to do. And the way I'm feeling right now, I don't even feel like I want to, contact him, because it took so much out of me, that last interaction with him. I don't want to say I'm getting older, but I'm getting older, and I've had way too many of these confrontations. And, while I feel like, maybe it's a way to reconnect and reconcile, right now I don't feel like we're anywhere near doing that. So I'm wondering, why am I even bothering? But I also think that maybe if I send the blanket without, because he likes to control everything. If I send the blanket to the house, and he might be furious with me. So I'm not sure what to do there, really. I guess it's all how I'm feeling at the time, or maybe he'll contact me again. Or maybe I'll decide to contact him again when it's done. I'm not really sure. I just don't know how to handle it. I'm trying to, and I'm sure, I'm not even sure if he's still living there, to be honest with you. He may be living at the house. He may not. I got a cryptic kind of, yes, I own my own home, which I'm not really sure what that means, but I know he owns his own home, or, anyway. But I have, this whole week I've been thinking a lot about that whole interaction and how much it took out of me, because I felt exhausted for about 4 days, like physically. I think sometimes your emotions can make you more tired than if you ran a marathon. And I felt so depleted and tired and didn't have a lot of energy. And I had trouble sleeping on top of it all, because, my mind was kind of racing with all of it. But I'm feeling better now. I'm feeling more myself, and I'm thankful for that. And I wanted to let you know what I've been thinking about. I think that I always say that the estrangement started when he met this woman. And it does seem like that. But when I really think about the past and what went on this past week in our texting back and forth, I realize that, and I'm going to say it, I think he's got some issues. I think he has some emotional issues. I don't feel like sometimes the way he reacts is even appropriate. I just don't. And now I feel like he has a lot of anger. Now, he did not, when he was a child, he didn't have a lot of anger. I never had a teacher, come and tell me, he's angry, he's punching walls, no, I haven't had any of that. And I was pretty involved in his schooling. We lived in a small town, and I always met his teachers, and they said good things about him, But I do notice from the past that when something really bad would happen, and he's had a few things happen in his lifetime. He doesn't show his emotions. And I don't know where he gets that from, because I can cry at the drop of a hat, and I always have. My father would tear up a lot over different things. And his own father, I saw it cry a couple of times. So I don't really know where he gets it. Nobody's telling him don't cry. In fact, I would say, it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. And he'd be like, I know. And he just didn't. And, I know I'm playing psychiatrist here, but I'm wondering if just the lack of emotion, him stuffing it all in, has manifested itself into some anger now. I don't know. I don't know. Please let me know what you think. If you've had that situation with your estranged child. I have read in the comments that there's a lot of us that are dealing with a very angry adult, that we're not really sure where that anger comes from, but it's there. And so I'm definitely seeing that, and I'm definitely realizing that it's not that woman's fault. I always kind of didn't blame her entirely, but I always said, oh, it started when he met her. And it does seem like that. But, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe just meeting her made it easier for him to disconnect from me. I don't know. I really don't know. But at any rate, it makes me think that there are some issues. I have issues. I mean, I've had depression and anxiety since I was in my 40s. I didn't have it prior to that, but I had a surgery. And I guess this little backstory about me, but I went through the menopause very quickly after my surgery. And I was maybe about 47, maybe. And it was after that I started getting depressed, really depressed. And I went to a doctor, and I didn't know anything really about depression, except that I know I had it, and I was getting panic attacks as well. So they threw a medication at me, pretty much, and it did help. It really did help. I guess what I regret is that I didn't try therapy first or counseling first. I took the pill, and it did work, and I am on it to this day. I've tried getting off of it a couple of times, and the side effects of getting off of it are horrible. But once you get through it, yeah, you're over it. But it's like 3 months to the day that I stop taking the medication, I get depressed again. So consequently, I've gone back on the medication. And I'm okay with that. I will take it now. I'm 67. I'll take it for the rest of my life. I don't want to be without it. I really don't. I don't want to go through that again and see if, after the 3 months, because I did it twice, and both times at that 3-month mark, it was like there was this black cloud that came over my head, and I was just miserable. And I don't want to live like that. So I'm okay with being on the medication. So, I'm trying to take responsibility for maybe my son having some emotional issues, You can't do anything about your genes, though. You really can't. And, it is what it is. Will he ever get some help? See, I can't say that to him. If I ever said, oh, you should get some help, you should get some counseling, he would just take that as the biggest insult. It would not go well. So I can't say that to him. Maybe if other people tell him that, maybe he'll listen. I don't know. The one thing about our adult children is, even if we are connecting with them, but it's harder when you're not, we can't live their life for them. We can't. They got to live their own lives, just like they can't live our life. So, it's a slippery slope for sure. But I wanted to, connect and let you know that I'm doing okay. And thank you all for the wonderful, kind comments. And I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing good right now. And I'm continuing on with the blanket. And I will show it to you, like I said, when I'm done with it. And I wish you all a great weekend. Today's Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday. So do something nice for yourself because you deserve it. I love you all. Please subscribe. I always forget to say that. Please subscribe so that this channel will grow and it helps me out. It helps YouTube out. Like if you like the video. And I will see you in my next one. Love you. Take care.